everybody, it is time for the Webkinz Mashup. This episode's mashup is between the signature giraffe and the signature Arctic fox. So I have Savannah, my signature giraffe, and Iceheart, my signature Arctic fox. This will be interesting because they're completely different animals and Savannah won't stand up. Great. Let's start with creativity. To make a signature giraffe, I think you have to be highly creative because, first of all, a giraffe isn't exactly what you think when you think signature. Usually when you think signature, you think like dogs, cats, big cats, so any type of unique animal, especially one of my favorites, giraffe. But a little bit of points kind of gets taken away because they've had a giraffe before, so I feel like it was just taking a Webkinz that they've already made and making it into a signature. So for the Webkinz giraffe, I'm going to give it a 4. The same kind of goes for the signature Arctic fox. It's really awesome, really creative, but they've already done an Arctic fox, so I feel like it was just kind of taking a Webkinz that they already did and making it into a signature, even though it was one that came out a little bit later, I guess kind of towards the end. I don't know, maybe not. It's creative, but at the same time it's not, just because they've already had one, so I'm gonna give the signature Arctic fox a 4. Now it's time to go over the PSI for both the signature giraffe and the signature Arctic fox. Now I have adopted both Savannah and Iceheart, so going over the pet specific items will be easy. The PSI for the signature giraffe is the sky high shower. The sky high shower is not a good idea in my opinion. The way it looks is great. It definitely looks like something that you would expect to see in the African savanna with a giraffe. However, I don't think that's exactly creative. When you get a signature, you expect to get a really fantastic item, something that either you can use or you can put in a room to decorate it. And the sky high shower is not what I would expect. I mean, yeah, it's cute, but let's be honest. When's the last time you saw a giraffe take a shower? Yeah, I haven't either. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to give the PSI a 1. What the heck? The PSI for the signature Arctic fox is the Daring Den slide. Now this item is really fun. If you haven't seen it, and it's been a while since I've used it, so I could be wrong, but I believe that your signature Arctic fox goes at the top and then slides down it like it's a slide. So it's really, really cool. I wouldn't necessarily expect to see an Arctic fox do this in real life. However, it does really fit the Arctic theme. The item is very creative. It's very snowy. It's something I would expect to see in the Arctic. This isn't something that you'd see a fox do. I don't think they would go sliding down a giant hill. Since I kind of based the signature giraffes on, you know, how realistic it is, I'm gonna have to base this one the same. For the PSI for the signature Arctic fox, I'm going to have to give it a 3. It's time to go over the pet-specific food. The signature giraffe's pet-specific food is the evergreen ice cream. This food item is a total disaster. Alright, first of all, evergreens are like, you know, the big trees that you see at Christmas time. Their dictionary definition is a plant that retains green leaves throughout the year. Big Christmas trees. Something surprising to me, and I actually looked this up, is that you can find evergreens in Africa. I did not know this. That's not really what you think of when you think of a giraffe, and I don't know if they eat, you know, the evergreens, but they eat twigs off of plants and sometimes eat plants' leaves. I don't know if they actually eat these. I wouldn't necessarily, and maybe they did do some research and found out that they do, but that's not what I would think when I would think, I don't know, giraffes. I think of leaves, like twigs, and I don't really know much about the diet of giraffe other than that they eat greens. I'm not really sure this is a great item. Not only that, but the ice cream looks more minty than it does look leafy. Say it was flavored evergreen. Say giraffes do actually like it. It doesn't look appealing. And what giraffe eats ice cream? Why couldn't they have had like some awesome looking salad or something? I don't know. This item just seems horrible. If you look, the little straw totally clashes with the cup. The cup is kind of colored like a giraffe, but then you got the straw and it's like striped. I get that that's like common. You know, in ice cream you put the striped straw in there, but it just clashes so much. Why couldn't they have had like a solid colored white straw? That would have been awesome. And on top of all this, you've got the chocolate syrup, which just looks really awkward. And then there's like the leaves on the ice cream, so it just, everything clashes and it looks horrible and it doesn't look appetizing. And I'm thinking in the mind of a giraffe. Pretty sure Savannah would not eat this, so I'm sorry, Gans. but I'm gonna have to go with a 2. The pet-specific food for the signature Arctic Fox is frozen fish and chips, and I cannot even, like, tell you my enthusiasm for this item. I have no doubt that they would eat a fish because I know they're meat eaters. I know that foxes eat small animals, so I would assume that an Arctic fox would eat fish. Fish and chips is awesome. I mean, if you've never had fish and chips, it's delicious. Great meal. And then the fact that it's, you know, frozen because it's in the Arctic is really cool. I don't think that an Arctic fox would actually enjoy it because it's frozen, and I don't think it would be very appetizing, but it is kind of creative, I think. And then it's on like a plate of glass with snow going off. So it's really cool to look at, and I think it fits okay. For this PSF, I'm gonna have to give it a 3. Now let's go over the gift boxes. The Signature Giraffe's gift box is super cute, and it reminds me of a giraffe. It's really tall, and it's almost awkwardly shaped because they're trying to make it look like a giraffe, but I think they did a really great job, and I love that it has the ears coming out of it. And the gift box is also colored like a giraffe, so there's no awkward miscolorings or any awkward anythings that don't really fit the gift box. And honestly, if I got a gift in this gift box in real life, I probably would be super ecstatic because it is so cute. So I'm trying not to be biased because I like giraffes, but let's be honest, this is perfect for a giraffe. Because this gift box is so great, it is getting a 5. The Signature Arctic Fox's gift box is really good too, but it looks a little weird. First of all, there are several different shades of white and gray, and it kind of looks like a mess. If I saw a furry gift box in real life, this is pretty much what I would expect it to look like. A total disaster, because let's be honest, you don't wrap things in fur. The tail looks like it needs to be groomed, and the box itself looks like somebody should have combed it before they wrapped anything around it. I like that it also has the ears on it, but because the fur is just such a mess, it looks weird. And the color of the ribbon doesn't look right. This is an Arctic fox, so usually when you have anything blue with anything Arctic or snowy, it's a light blue, not a dark blue, and it's really weird. So this gift box is a little bit awkward, and I'm gonna go with a 3 for that. Okay, so now let's go over the plush and the virtual. The plush and the virtual pretty much look exactly alike. I mean, it's really hard to mess up a giraffe. Both of them have the spots, and they've got the horns, they've got the hair, the ears, and even the eyes look pretty much the same with the brown outside and the black on the inside. The virtual has this really adorable smile that you don't really see on the plush just because it's really hard to put a smile on a serious looking animal like that. The one thing I noticed though that's completely different is the legs on the virtual are thicker. Something that the plush could definitely have had because the legs are so thin and it's hard to hold it up. They match pretty much exactly the same, and like I said, it's really hard to mess it up. Since everything except the legs pretty much match, I'm gonna have to give it a 4. The Signature Arctic Fox. Alright, there's a lot to discuss here. First of all, the virtual has all these different shades of gray, which you don't see in the plush. There is no gray, there's white. Why they went with all these different awkward shades it's just confusing. They could have made, the white a little bit darker, but not quite so gray, without making it look like the virtual went running through ash or something. It looks really, really bad, to be honest. I personally favor the plush over the virtual just because of that. The eyes match the same. Pretty much, it's almost exactly the same, but if you look at the face, it's got all these lines that you don't see on the plush, and it feels like they just really, really messed it up. They got, the shagginess of the fur, because, it's not, perfect, but it's kind of shaggy and loose. They got that just fine. They got the nose and the ears. Well, actually, the ears don't really match either. If you look here in this picture, you can see that the plush has kind of black lines on the ears. I don't really know what an Arctic fox looks like all that much, other than the basic appearance. They don't really have that on the virtual, and I feel like if they put that in there, it might look a little bit more believable. I would rather see black lines on the ears than I would see all that gray, because it doesn't look like an Arctic fox. It looks like, it does, but it looks like a dirty fox. It needs to have a bath. The tail pretty much looks the same, minus, the awkward gray. So because they just completely messed up the coloring and didn't match it whatsoever, I'm gonna have to give the plush and the virtual a 2. Let's talk about the plush build. The signature giraffe is not built very well. Now I know it's probably extremely hard to have such a tall plush stand by itself, but when you give it these really skinny legs with absolutely no support from the hooves, how do you expect it to stand? I feel like the hooves should have been a little bit bigger because giraffe hooves aren't necessarily that small. They're kind of big and they definitely hold their weight. You expect the signatures to sit on their own, but this is one signature, probably the only one that, at least the only one I know of, that will not, you know, go on its own, and it needs help, which, you know, is a pain in the butt when you're filming a video like this, where I want to touch it but I can't because she doesn't sit up on her own. Or when I'm making a signature island video, I always have to hold her because she won't sit on her own, so it's really painful for, you know, a KinzTuber to use the signature giraffe, which is probably why you don't see them very often in videos, which is sad because they're beautiful. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give the signature giraffe for the plush build a 2, because while it does represent a giraffe very well and the neck is sturdy and everything, the body is great, the legs are awful and it will not stand on its own. Now for the signature Arctic fox. The build is absolutely wonderful. It's great for sitting. It's very sturdy, very sturdy, especially when you use in videos. Sometimes the Webkinz, especially when you grab them here, it kind of starts to get that grip in their neck, so then they start losing the dense neck and they have a floppy neck, which, you know, if you've ever collected like Beanie Babies, they would also do that. The beans would just all go in the body and they would have nothing in the neck and the head. I have not noticed this problem so far in Iceheart. I don't use him all that much because he's in Webkinz Mashup and I haven't made that many videos for that, so far I haven't noticed the problem. I would say the build is great because, you know, it's what you expect from a signature. Very sturdy, set it down and they always sit, kind of like a cat, but not a cat. I'm going to give it a 5. Let's talk about the name. Unfortunately with signatures, there's not much creativity that goes into the names because you have to stick with, you know, what breed or type of animal it is. It's really hard to base the names and give it a good, you know, judgment. I can't really talk about either one of them because, you know, a giraffe, it's a giraffe, there's no creativity there, and it's an Arctic fox, again, no creativity. So for both of them, I'm gonna have to give it a 3. So the winner, as you know, or may not know in case this is your first Webkinz Mashup video, the winner has not been picked yet. Although one may have more points than the other, you, the viewer, still have a chance to influence the score. In the comment section below, unless you see in the description that votes are not being taken anymore, make sure to check the description first. Vote for which one is your favorite, the signature giraffe or the signature Arctic fox. Your favorite Webkinz could get up to an extra 5 points and maybe even take the lead if they are the underdog. So make sure to comment your favorite in the description below, and if you have any suggestions for future Webkinz mashups, make sure to comment those. If you're not sure if I actually own the Webkinz, don't worry. If I don't, I won't put them into the drawing for the next Webkinz mashup. I think that just about wraps it up. If you have any questions, make sure to let me know, and don't forget, if you want to rewatch the episode or if you want to see how the scorecard goes, there will be a link in the description that'll show you kind of a typed up version of the scorecard, which I use with me on Webkinz Mashup videos. As you can see, I have it right here on my handy dandy notebook. Thanks everybody for watching, and you'll see in the next episode at the beginning who wins, the signature giraffe, who can't stand on her own, or the signature Arctic fox.